The hidden mythology of Legion, when angels become the enemy. Welcome back, fam. This is Nine from Nine World Chronicles, and today I'm going to be doing a deep dive into a film that holds a special place in my heart. The 2010 movie Legion. And I've watched this movie over a dozen times. Not because this movie is perfect, because it's not, but because beneath the gunfire, the wings, the apocalyptic chaos, Legion is soaked in ancient mythology. It's not just a movie about angels and demons, it's a modern remix of ancient stories about rebellion, faith, divine wrath, and humanity's potential. So let's dig into it. So first we have Michael, the rebel angel. The first mythological switch hits us hard. Michael, the archangel, goes against God to save humanity. Now, traditionally, Michael is heaven's most loyal soldier, the one who cast down Lucifer. But in Legion, he becomes something else. He's more like Prometheus, who defied the gods to bring fire to humanity. Or Enki, the Sumerian god who constantly obeyed divine decrees to protect humans. And one of the most striking scenes is when Michael stitches up the wounds where his wings were cut off. It's brutal, quiet, and deeply symbolic. In angelic mythology, wings aren't just for flight. They represent divine authority, obedience, and burden of duty. Tearing them off isn't just an act of rebellion, it's a declaration of independence from heaven itself. Michael doesn't just fall from grace, he chooses grace over blind obedience. It's mythic as hell. Now, Gabriel, the loyal enforcer. Now, opposing Michael is Gabriel, another archangel, but this one's still loyal, and he's terrifying, unstoppable, ice cold. Gabriel doesn't need a reason, he follows orders. And this sets up a classic mythic duality. Order versus compassion, law versus love, duty versus destiny. So we think of Set versus Asar, Thor versus Loki, or even the tension between Zeus and Prometheus. But both sides were wearing wings. And here's where Legion innovates. It reimagines angels not as these glowing, harp-bearing protectors, but as militant enforcers. These are the beings that are bred for war, with bladed halos and divine weapons. Gabriel doesn't come down to inspire, he comes to eliminate. This is the new archetype, the bureaucratic angel who values cosmic order over love or logic. The child savior. So let's talk about the baby, who's the pregnant waitress carrying a child who is humanity's last hope. This is the Masonic archetype. This is across mythologies. Horus, Krishna, Moses, Jesus, Quetzalcoatl, all savior figures born under threat, carrying the weight of rebirth. But in Legion, angels, not demons, are trying to kill this child. This flips the scripts. God's own messengers become executioners, and the savior must be born again against heaven's will. Then there's the God who is tired of humanity. The God of Legion never appears, but his message is clear. Humanity has failed. This is straight out of Old Testament flood narratives, Gnostic apocalyptic stories, and even Greek myth where Zeus sends a flood to destroy humans after they stopped honoring the gods. It echoes an ancient theme that the divine grows weary of his creation. But Michael argues that God doesn't need obedience anymore, that he needs hope. Divine punishment recast as possession. Now, instead of demons, it's angels possessing people, twisting their bodies like monsters. And the possessed aren't just mindless zombies. These are grotesque manifestations of divine judgment. Think about the old lady who starts off sweet, then climbs a wall, snarls like an animal, and bites into raw flesh. She is nightmare fuel. Then there's the ice cream man, a symbol of childhood joy and innocence, now turned to the spidery, skeletal terror that folds and bends like no human should. And it jumps into more scary scenes. It's symbolic. These monsters represent the corruption of trust, familiarity, and even grace. And this blurs the line between divine and demonic. These aren't cherubs, they are divine tools like the Furies, the Asuras, or even the Jinn, just unleashed. And says something powerful. Divine violence is still violence, whether it comes from heaven or comes from hell. The myth message: break the rules to survive the world. At its core, Legion isn't about defeating evil. It's about standing against a righteous system that's lost his way. Michael embodies that truth. He sees beyond law and wrath. He chooses mercy. That's the ancient myth of the trickster or the rebel savior, wrapped in wings and Kevlar. It tells us sometimes the divine needs correction. Sometimes faith means defying heaven for the sake of humanity. Now, Legion may just seem like another angel apocalypse flick. If you peel back the surface, it's an ancient story reborn. If you like this breakdown and want more mythology layered into modern media, hit that like, share it with your divine rebels, and subscribe to Nine World Chronicles, where myth lives on every day. Until next time, remember, even angels can fall for the right reasons.